Right here is what will happen when a narcissist knows you don't want him back. In the intricate tapestry of our individual journeys, there inevitably comes a pivotal moment, an epiphany where the desire to keep the narcissist ensconced in our lives dissipates. Presently, collectively, we stand at such a juncture, propelled here by unmistakable signals from the cosmos and the ethereal forces above, elucidating the toxicity cloaking the individual who denigrated our being and perhaps besmirched our reputation. As we fortify the ramparts of our mental, emotional, and spiritual fortitude, we must navigate this treacherous terrain with adeptness. Our steadfast commitment to the strategy of non-engagement serves as the bulwark, purging the vestiges of longing for their return. Hence, when the tempest of their potential resurgence churns the dust, revealing their faltering confidence in reconnecting, it becomes imperative to unveil their true nature. Release the tether of self-awareness, acknowledging their egocentrism, and assert your disinterest unequivocally. Offer them the opportunity to seek other prey, for your garden of apathy now flourishes abundantly. Articulate your stance with words judiciously chosen to penetrate their defenses. Though I advocate against cruelty, honesty demands that they confront the verity, shattering their fallacious beliefs, inducing a disconcerting tremor. Yet exercise caution, refraining from excessive verbal vitriol. This resounding admonition serves as the thunderclap of reality, rupturing the bubble of their delusions. In the aftermath of discarding their victims, narcissists wander aimlessly, ensnared by their own falsehoods, oblivious to their uncertain future, their reticence betraying a misguided assumption of your latent desire for their return. The time is right for unanimity, to declare, "No more, narcissist. I reject you unequivocally. Our paths shall never intersect anew in the realm of reality. You hold no ingress to my domain. The denouement of our clandestine discourse is here be inscribed." Now, let us turn our gaze to the unrelenting scrutiny. In the narcissist's domain, every aspect was scrutinized with meticulous precision. Their virtual presence, encompassing their activities across social media platforms, was subject to relentless surveillance. It was eerie, as if they possessed an uncanny ability to commune telepathically, discerning the thoughts of their targets. Their Machiavellian machinations left indelible imprints, emblematic of their perverse game. One notable instance featured a seemingly insignificant trinket bestowed as a gift. Though of nominal value, the narcissist wielded it as a pawn in their sinister stratagem, deriving sadistic pleasure from belittling and ridiculing others. Their conduct bespoke a twisted euphoria, and their faces lit up with confusion when they realized that the target had no plans to let the narcissist back into their life. To be allowed to go back, they had to go through a huge amount of change to fix their bad behavior. After that, the target called out the narcissist in public, showing how dishonest they were, and charges flew. When the target started dating through an app and found the narcissist secretly watching in their profile, an alarm went off to let them know the narcissist had broken in. Even the choice of profile picture was planned and meant to make you feel uneasy, a clear sign of how constantly alert the narcissist is. They are now on a very thin ledge because they have ruined their target's image and done things that can't be forgiven. Still, the desire for the target's return is still there, and their Hoover moves are still strong and bright. Third, the start of freedom. At some point in every journey, there is a point of unwavering strength and importance that rings with the freedom of understanding that they are no longer welcome to shape the course of your life. Our inner voices finally say, "I no longer yearn for their return," after following their absence for days, months, or even years. It makes us feel alive and gives us more energy for all the time we spent staring into what seemed like an endless nothingness, trying to bring their presence back to life and fix our strong desire for it. Now though, that longing has gone away like morning fog amid the soft touch of dawn. I trust that the universe or a higher force will lead me in the right direction, no matter where you are in your healing process. Whether you've reached the first big steps or are still dealing with pain, you will be able to say with confidence, "I no longer desire their return." Do not let your heart sink if you are currently reading this message and struggling with a deep desire. We should all work toward that turning point when the desire for their return goes away and becomes unimportant. This new information causes a huge change in energy, which changes the balance of power. At this point, they are being chased. As soon as you set clear limits and make it clear that you don't want them back, they will start chasing you. As a result, keep your feelings in check and keep a firm attitude when you're talking to them. As a response to their moves, act emotionless when you talk to them. 4. Clear thinking and putting limits on things. You might be filled with insults that show how disappointed and angry you are, making you want to say things like, "How stupid I was to waste time chasing your shadows. I find you to be such an empty and mysterious figure." Still, it's important to carefully check your words before letting them out to make sure they match your goals. Say what you want to say, and then feel strong as you delete and block them, erasing them from your life. It's a harsh warning to the narcissist of what they've done wrong. When we say things to narcissists, they don't listen. This makes our shared understanding stronger. They are aware that they are changing the conversation's direction and goals to fit their story. Still, it's important that we stand firm without letting our feelings get in the way, and it should be crystal clear that we don't want them back. We can firmly shut the door on them if they try to use a Hoover move to get back in when they try to discard. Refusing their advances over and over again helps set limits that can't be broken. When a narcissist dumps us, or abuses us a lot, it rarely means the end or a clean break. Instead, they use it in a strange way to get more of the narcissistic feed, whether it's good or bad. They get energy from the way we feel. Because of this, a strong statement is our response, making it very clear that they are not wanted in our lives. 5. Going back to the past. In cases where you and the narcissist have a past of having children together, this is especially important. Setting clear limits is very important when using the gray rock method. Make sure that the only thing that can be talked about is the kid's health and wants. Make it clear that you don't want to have any other kind of conversation. It can be something like, "Unless it's about our kids, let's not talk about anything else. I have no desire for unrelated conversations." Sets the rules and makes it hard for Hoover to get away with things. Set limits for yourself and be strong. This move is as strong as throwing away a card. In order to face a narcissist and bring their past actions to light, this is an important part of the plan. They need to be made very aware of all the pain and suffering they cause. This important step in the healing process gives you the tools you need to set limits and say what you need. Narcissists often use aggressive and engulfing Hoover methods, which makes it hard to find them and deal with them in real time. Because of your route, stay alert and be careful. There's a good chance you'll come across a Hoover attempt. If you didn't respond, you may have hit them in the selfish ego and hurt it. It is important to consistently and firmly fight back against the narcissist. The goal of this method is to give them a hard blow to their narcissistic pride, leaving them and their new narcissistic sources stuck in their dysfunctional maze. No matter how much they want to stay in this crazy world, you have to firmly shut the doors to your life on them. Making this choice has a lot of weight and is another freeing step on our path to healing and self-love. Whenever the narcissist realizes that you are no longer the key to their life, they become more aware of what that means. As the smoke clears, they can see that their efforts were pointless. This realization changes the situation and sparks a new quest. When they pay attention to you again, it's a very big step toward healing and a big blow to their selfish ego. It is thought that causing these cuts, even if you are not aware of it, is important for your healing. Don't worry, a quick look in the mirror of the past will show that you have, in fact, left a clear trail of these wounds. Do not doubt that you have done your part. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for taking the time to read this stream of thoughts. Please hit the like button and subscribe to this station if you found it interesting. Soon, your screen will show you more sources of information and knowledge. I hope the recovery process goes well. Until we meet again. The aftermath of discard hits narcissists harder than no contact ever could. Greetings, everyone. We're diving into another captivating expedition of self-discovery and comprehension. Get ready for a deep dive into the intricate labyrinth of our focal point today, the mysterious realm of how a narcissist copes with the aftermath of a breakup. We're set to unravel the layers of this complex puzzle, attempting to grasp the seemingly ungraspable. Join me on this intellectual journey as we analyze the very essence of their post-breakup mentality. Narcissists, known for their mastery of duality, often initiate their relationships by crafting an idealized narrative around you. They shower you with affection, seemingly possessing the keys to your deepest desires, and make promises that rival ancient legends in grandiosity. However, brace yourselves, as the plot thickens when they transform into purveyors of deception, orchestrating smear campaigns that could give even Machiavelli a moment of contemplation. It's a delicate dance between the sweet melody of love and the bitter embrace of deception. As mentioned earlier, navigating these turbulent waters often feels like attempting to tame a storm. At times, it's tempting to envision organizations like the World Health Organization monitoring the chaotic impact on our lives, treating it almost like a contagion requiring containment. If you find yourself nodding along in agreement, a gentle tap on that like button serves as our silent pact, a signal in this journey of enlightenment. Now let's explore the aftermath of a breakup for a narcissist. You might assume they're devastated, especially if you've implemented no contact, or they've blocked you on social media and their phones. Typically, they initiate the breakup, leaving you without closure, allowing them the option to return whenever they please. However, there are instances where you beat them to the punch and end things first. Well done, by the way. Here's the scoop. Narcissists initially perceived you as their savior. When you entered their lives, you represented the solution to all their problems. However, how can you possibly be the remedy when they grapple with a multitude of issues and inner demons? After all, you're not a miracle worker. They need years of therapy and perhaps a few exorcisms, not a relationship with you. Now circling back to the topic of discarding. What truly rattles a narcissist? What they find intolerable is when you adopt an unbothered demeanor. You cease providing them with the attention and control they incessantly crave. Remember, these individuals are essentially overgrown children. So when we discuss discarding, we're delving into the dismantling of the very core of a narcissist being. The one thing they cannot endure is your indifference, once everything is said and done. Listen up, I want to underscore a crucial point. Narcissists find themselves utterly powerless in the face of this approach. They're left with no response, no retort. Frequently, there's a misconception that when we're discarded, and we initiate no contact, the narcissist is left devastated. We assume they're experiencing the same level of hurt and distress as we are. However, the reality is quite different. They have alternative sources of attention, and they swiftly redirect their focus to someone else. Nevertheless, it's imperative to be crystal clear about one significant aspect. A narcissist won't offer you closure willingly. They avoid closing doors, as closure implies shutting a door. Yet when you take the initiative to discard them first, implement complete no contact, and achieve an unbothered state, wherein you couldn't care less about their activities or companions, that's what leaves them perplexed. They have no response to this, because they depend on you caring, even if you're not physically present. They desire you to broadcast your struggles and emotions on social media. That's precisely why we recommend taking a break from social media and keeping the narcissist in the dark about your post-discard thoughts. They'll attempt various tactics, such as crafting fake profiles or sending friend requests from dubious-looking accounts with minimal posts. However, what truly unsettles a narcissist is indifference. They cannot cope with your sheer lack of concern, the attitude that says, I simply don't care about your activities, what you're eating, or whether you're eating at all. This leaves them defenseless, as it pierces their ego to the core. The impact is profound, because it doesn't matter if they were the ones who initiated the discard. While they may initially feel a semblance of control, being unable to witness your social media updates, being blocked on all communication channels, and then seeing you reappear on social media, portraying a life of contentment, that's when they experience true suffering. Perhaps you come across narcissists within your family, dynamic, or share children with them. In situations where you find yourself emotionally detached, exhibiting no response to their theatrics, you might be practicing what's known as gray rocking, an exceptionally effective strategy. Treating them as inconsequential sends a powerful message, essentially conveying, you're just a passing thought. You don't have any impact on me. For a narcissist, this is one of the most unsettling scenarios, especially if you were previously their primary source of supply. Once they transition to a new source, you suddenly become more appealing to them. It might sound surprising, but it's a real occurrence. They may attempt to re-establish a connection within weeks or even days of entering a new relationship. Yet, when you genuinely reach a state of being unfazed by their conduct, it leaves them bewildered. The notion that you no longer care about them or their actions becomes something they can't grasp. For narcissists, your emotional investment is a crucial element of their game. Thus, achieving emotional detachment after the discard proves devastating for them. When you exhibit no emotional response and maintain complete disinterest in their behaviors, it signals that they have lost you permanently. This realization is their worst fear because narcissists always strive to keep the door ajar for a potential return, much like a queen on a chessboard, maintaining control. However, Achieving an unbothered attitude toward their antics wrests that control away from them. It is a potent response that can either fuel their fixation or, in many instances, inflict such a profound wound on their ego that they opt to walk away. It constitutes a substantial narcissistic injury, one from which they often struggle to recover. Feel free to pass along this information to anyone who might benefit from it. It's crucial to recognize that even after experiencing a narcissistic discard and implementing no contact, the key to dismantling their power lies in maintaining an unbothered attitude. Stay resilient and keep in mind that not only healing but thriving is entirely achievable. If you haven't done so already, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel for more insightful content. Your support is appreciated, and take care. Uncover the unsettling truth about why the narcissist desperately craves your presence. Everyone, I have something important to share with you. If you've ever navigated a relationship with a narcissistic individual, you understand the challenges it brings. These connections may feel like a confined space where you find yourself obligated to be part of something gradually consuming you. It's tough, and it's completely okay to face difficulties. You may be pondering why individuals with narcissistic tendencies consistently exhibit anger, regardless of your efforts to please them. Even when you've gone above and beyond to ensure their happiness, they still manage to find a reason to become upset. It almost feels like achieving success is an insurmountable challenge in these relationships. But why is that? The root of the issue lies in the fact that narcissistic individuals resist relying on anyone, yourself included. While they crave validation, support, care, and companionship, the notion of depending on someone for these needs is abhorrent to them. They harbor a fear that any admission of need would render them perceived as weak and vulnerable. In their pursuit of maintaining a perception of superiority, they aim to position themselves as grandiose rulers above basic human needs. Despite this facade, deep down, they rely on you, a lot. This dependency contradicts their meticulously crafted self-image, resulting in feelings of shame and anger if they acknowledge their need for you. They react strongly, much like the unexpected animation of your toothbrush, taking on a life of its own. Although such a scenario might be displeasing, you're not merely an object to them. You're a human being. This realization triggers their shame and instills a fear of dependency. Concluding a relationship with a narcissistic individual can be catastrophic because they struggle to comprehend emotions beyond their own. Their apprehension towards acknowledging any form of need propels them towards a pursuit of perfection, aiming to evade any display of weakness. This fear of vulnerability and dependency becomes a constant source of anger and frustration. If you find it challenging to cope with a narcissistic individual, that's perfectly understandable. Keep in mind that you're not obligated to fulfill their every need. They rely on you just as much as you rely on them, even if they're unwilling to acknowledge it. It's crucial to prioritize self-care. Don that metaphorical mask, establish a healthy distance, and recognize your own value. Stay resilient, and I appreciate your time. You may have observed that these individuals struggle to accept compliments or recognize when you fulfill their expectations. Instead, they respond with anger, because your actions highlight their dependence on you. It creates a vicious cycle where they need you more than you need them, and the more you do for them, the greater their anger grows. The inherent imbalance in these relationships is the core issue. You end up shouldering more, and they resent their reliance on you. Reducing your involvement or pulling back from these relationships isn't a viable option either, as it would likely result in criticism or increased demands, exacerbating their shame. It's essential to understand that you represent a perpetual source of shame for these individuals, particularly if you spend significant time with them. The very fact that they rely on you is what renders these relationships toxic. Your capacity to fulfill their needs transforms into an almost obligatory duty, leaving you with a constant sense of walking on eggshells around them. Even when you believe you comprehend their needs, there's always an additional layer, and genuine satisfaction remains elusive. The constant neediness of these individuals becomes draining, intensifying the frustration within these relationships over time. It might commence with accommodating their needs, but it progressively amplifies, establishing a destructive cycle of despair and resentment. Keep in mind, their unexpressed yearning for validation inevitably resurfaces. Appreciate your time, and take care, everyone. The loss of the one who got away leaves the narcissist devastated. Exhibiting classic narcissistic traits, they consistently underestimate individuals they deem inferior, confidently navigating within the confines of their self-constructed universe, holding a delusional belief in their manufactured identity as a celestial being worthy of adoration and honor. The harsh reality of their deception eventually weighs heavily upon them. The revelation hits when they confront the stark truth that the super empath, their source of ego validation, has transcended to join a congregation of other formidable beings, leaving them deserted in the desolate realm known as Disappointment City. Their worn and dust-covered selves are the remnants of this aftermath. The narcissist, perennially incapable of coping with the loss of their super empath, a symbol of their ego boost across past, present, and future, finds themselves in an ongoing state of internal turmoil. We express our sincere appreciation for your presence today and are grateful for the time you have graciously dedicated to joining us. A warm welcome to our recent subscribers. We are thrilled that you have chosen to become part of our supportive community. To those returning, it brings us joy to share these precious moments with you once again. If you're new here and resonate with our content, we warmly encourage you to subscribe and hit the notification bell. This ensures you stay updated with the latest from our community. We aim to foster an environment for discussion, learning, and growth, and your participation is vital to this collective journey. Let's continue our exploration, sharing insights and dispelling misconceptions about narcissism, working together to build a more understanding and empathetic world. Narcissists are known for their short-sightedness, finding solace in misguided paths, often oblivious to impending disasters. Despite a history marked by shattered relationships, they persistently overlook valuable lessons from their past. The true magnitude of their loss only becomes evident when the super empath, a central figure in their existence, exits their lives. Initially, they exhibit a complete lack of foresight, remaining undisturbed by the realization that they've been dismissed. They persist in their self-delusion, with a considerable number viewing themselves as godlike beings. In their perception, they maintain the conviction that their divine abilities will guide them to triumph. They reassure themselves that their celestial blessing, the super empath, will always be within their grasp. They fail to anticipate the formidable challenge of replacing this source of emotional nourishment. Nevertheless, as time marches on, the harsh reality gradually infiltrates their delusion. This is a facet often overlooked. The narcissist is essentially a ticking time bomb of karma, destined to detonate. It's an undeniable truth that they will eventually reap the consequences of their actions. It is unrealistic to have a super empath in your life, mistreat them, discard them as if they're inconsequential, and not anticipate any repercussions. The backlash is inevitable, and the narcissist will unquestionably bear the brunt of it. Unwittingly, they dismantle the very foundations that support them, failing to realize that the people they've taken for granted are the pillars of their fabricated world. The aftermath of their actions leaves behind a desolate landscape, a testament to their inability to recognize the value of those around them. It serves as a somber reminder that in their pursuit of self-gratification, narcissists often lose more than they gain. The realization hits narcissists when they understand that super empaths are not as abundant as they initially assumed, akin to plentiful fruit within easy reach on a tree. Super empaths are a rare breed, not individuals one can casually encounter regularly. This sudden awareness fills the narcissist with a sense of panic and emotion, to which they are typically unaccustomed. In their panic state, they hastily try to compensate for their loss by seeking numerous substitutes. However, these substitutes generally fall short, a clear contrast to the super empath they once possessed. These inferior alternatives are easily accessible and widespread, resembling the readily available fruit on a tree. Yet, as the narcissist maneuvers through these fresh relationships, they stumble upon a surprising revelation. To their amazement, they realize that these substitutes frequently mirror their own regrettable behavior and toxic traits. In certain instances, they even discover that these stand-ins are narcissists themselves, mirroring the narcissist's own egocentric universe. This unforeseen twist serves as a stern lesson for the narcissist, compelling them to face the reality that a super empath cannot be substituted with just any random individual. It prompts them to recognize that people are not interchangeable or easily replaceable commodities. While unsettling, this realization can act as a vital wake-up call, potentially prompting a reassessment of their actions and destructive behaviors. When the narcissist confronts the stark truth that the super empath hasn't returned to their orbit, hasn't come back pleading for a reunion, they are left in a state of complete bewilderment. The unfolding scenario doesn't align with the mental screenplay they had carefully crafted, a narrative where they are the central protagonist, admired and desired by all. This deviation from their envisioned plotline plunges them into a vortex of confusion and disorientation. This state of confusion soon transforms into profound resentment and intense jealousy. They contemplate why the super empath, whom they considered inferior, could leave and not come back. Acknowledging their own inadequacy in the absence of the super empath delivers a severe blow to their self-esteem, pushing them dangerously close to the edge of madness. In due course, the narcissist becomes consumed by an obsessive fixation on the super empath, the one who skillfully evaded their grasp. The individual who chose not to return becomes the central focus of their thoughts, an obsession they grapple with incessantly. This fixation not only accentuates their own shortcomings, but also serves as a constant reminder of the precious entity they lost and their own inability to retain them. Ultimately, their inability to manipulate the super empath, once perceived as easily moldable, becomes a persistent source of frustration. In solitude, the narcissist is compelled to face the harsh reality of having dismantled a relationship that held immense value for them. The super empath, initially deemed replaceable, turns out to be an irreparable loss, creating a void they struggle to fill. Once the seed of obsession with the super empath takes root in the narcissist's psyche, they resort to stalking and spying as a means of surveillance. They enlist their newly acquired, easily accessible lower-grade substitutes to monitor the super empath, gathering updates on their activities. Additionally, they deploy flying monkeys, individuals manipulated into acting on their behalf, to further their objectives. The narcissist is in a state of desperation, longing to rebuild a connection and eager to find a way back into the super empath's world. They are willing to go to extraordinary lengths to decipher the super empath's prevailing emotions and reactions. However, when their efforts yield no results, it deals another blow to their self-esteem, inflicting yet another narcissistic wound. This failure triggers episodes of narcissistic fury, which they unleash on anyone unfortunate enough to be in their proximity. The narcissist also exploits the super empath's name as a tool for triangulation, manipulating those in their surroundings. They leverage the qualities of the super empath, hoping that this association will strengthen their own network of emotional providers, as if it will aid them in securing higher quality sources of emotional nourishment. They repeatedly bring up the super empath's name, using it as an extension of their own identity to attract new sources of supply. Despite the super empath's physical absence, they linger as a perpetual presence in the narcissist's consciousness. This ongoing fixation not only exposes the narcissist's inability to move forward, but also emphasizes the profound impact the super empath had on their lives. The narcissist's persistent efforts to exploit the super empath's name and qualities, even in their absence, clearly highlight their significance and the narcissist's desperation to cling to them, albeit in a distorted and unhealthy manner. The narcissist's fixation on the super empath transforms into an all-encompassing obsession, rendering them unable to hit the reset button and restore their balance. Their internal mental acrobatics only hasten their downfall, engaging in the psychological mechanism of splitting, where they perceive things in absolute terms as either wholly good or entirely bad, leads the narcissist to see themselves as inferior. Despite being surrounded by a low-grade emotional supply, the super empath, their superior source of emotional nourishment, remains unaffected. Living life to its fullest potential, the super empath continues as if the narcissist were merely a figment of their past. This nonchalant attitude further intensifies the flames of the narcissist's obsession. The narcissist realizes that their most viable strategy is to wait patiently. It's crucial to understand that for the narcissist, patience is not an issue. They possess the ability to wait patiently, methodically planning their return. Hence, they recline and observe, maintaining vigilant surveillance, patiently anticipating the ideal moment to re-enter the super empath's life. In the depths of their minds, they strategize and craft their comeback plan, patiently awaiting the opportune moment to strike and infiltrate the super empath's world once more. The super empath's world becomes the narcissist's stage, where they relentlessly search for any signs of vulnerability or opportunities to reclaim their forfeited position. They meticulously observe every action, reaction, and emotion of the super empath, hoping to identify any weaknesses. They continuously analyze the super empath's interactions with others, daily routine, and emotional state, seeking any signs they can exploit to their advantage. Despite being in a state of isolation, the narcissist remains vigilant, poised to exploit any hint of vulnerability and disrupt the peace the super empath may have found in their absence. Narcissists persist in closely monitoring the super empath, often using methods established during the more harmonious phases of their relationship. They had previously devised strategies to keep track of the super empath even during the love bombing phase. It's essential to understand that for narcissists, their emotional supply is as vital as oxygen, indispensable for their survival, much like food and water are for the rest of humanity. However, a note of caution is necessary here. As narcissists lack any sense of embarrassment or shame, they can orchestrate emergencies to lure the super empath back into their tumultuous world. These are merely tactics to gauge the super empath's reactions, similar to a metaphorical temperature check. It's crucial to maintain resilience during these challenging times, which can be referred to as the hoovering season, a period when the narcissist attempts to vacuum the super empath back into their life. Rest assured, the narcissist has not undergone a transformation. They have no intentions of changing, nor do they possess the capability to do so. Their ultimate goal remains unchanged: to regain dominance and control over the super empath. I hope you found this information both enlightening and empowering. Grasping the intricacies of narcissistic behavior and equipping yourself with the knowledge to protect your mental and emotional well-being is crucial. My wish is that this information aids you in gaining a deeper understanding of yourself and in cultivating healthier relationships. Until our next exchange, take care and stay safe. Always remember, knowledge is a source of power, and cultivating self-awareness is the initial stride towards personal growth. Right here is what will happen when a narcissist knows you don't want him back. In the intricate tapestry of our individual journeys, there inevitably comes a pivotal moment, an epiphany where the desire to keep the narcissist ensconced in our lives dissipates. Presently, collectively, we stand at such a juncture, propelled here by unmistakable signals from the cosmos and the ethereal forces above, elucidating the toxicity cloaking the individual.